Plant care tips for your peperomias. These compact plants, like bright indirect light, want to be watered again when the first inch or two of soil is dry, come in so many different cool varieties. Definitely grow towards the light, so if you want them to be even in shape, you'll want to make sure you rotate them. This is your frost peperomia, peacock, peperomia ginny, green emerald, Luna red with this deep, beautiful texture. Peperomia hope, these actually begin to trail. This is a trailing watermelon, and this is a watermelon mini. The rosso, this is actually a big of the frost. This is what they look like as they grow. From this. Oh, and then there's the variegated baby rubbers that are in the same family, which are super easy to take care of. So pretty.
Today I'm going to show you all how to propagate peperomias. These leaves came from the floor of a Lowe's. They fell off the plant. I did not cut them. Please do not do that. For this mixture, I'm going to mix 1/3 cactus soil to 2/3 perlite and just a handful of orchid bark. Once it's all mixed together, I'll add it to that nursery pot. You want to make sure to pack down the stuff at the bottom, and then I will add another layer to the top of loose soil so that we can get our leaves in there. Next, we want to cut these leaves with clean scissors through the thickest part of the leaf. This is where our roots and new stems will come from, so we want to make sure that there's the biggest area possible. After that's done, just go through and stick these into the soil. This can be a bit of a task, so then this is your finished product. You want to make sure to mist it thoroughly at first, and then again about once a day or once every other day. Then, 2 months later, this is what you'll have. You can see that big leaf there, and then the little tiny baby leaf back there. And check out those sweet roots.
When it comes to propagating peperomias, you can do a leaf or stem cutting. For this video, we went ahead and cut them by the stem. Grab a container, add some water, and add your cuttings. Next, we placed the cuttings on a shelf and waited. After a few weeks, these tiny babies had sprouted. So now let's get to planting. We used a mixture of soil and cocoa peat. We used the back of our tiny tool to make tiny holes, planted them, and placed them back in their home and gave them a good watering.
Care tips for your peperomia. So these are Peperomia obtusifolia, but there's tons of other kinds like this watermelon peperomia or this hope peperomia here. So these tips will be more general, but so feel free to tweak for your individual plant's needs. In my experience, I've had more success with my peperomia if I treat them more like succulent plants, meaning more light and less frequent waterings, but not a hard and fast rule. I recently watered these peperomia, so you can see me doing a little taco test on this one. Since it's just been watered, the leaves feel a lot firmer. I've been keeping these peperomia in my western window, and that's been working well. Again, depending on the plant, they can be more light flexible, but I wouldn't call them a low light plant. Comment below with any questions you've got, and if you want specific help for your plants, check out my Planty Support Center at the link in my bio.
Here is a video on peperomia per request. If you're looking for a nice small house plant, this is a good one for you because these guys aren't going to grow much more than 12 inches max. Peperomia prefer indirect light. Too much light and they're going to get a little crispy, not enough light and they're going to get leggy, which in that case, just give them a little cut back and they'll start to grow back healthy. As far as watering, allow the soil to dry out between waterings. If you see it wilting, it means you're underwatering it. If you see yellow leaves or black stems, it means you're overwatering it. If you have any more questions about peperomia, drop a comment below.
This is a peperomia. I've done a couple of videos about these guys propagating them, so this is grown from a propagation, but now I'm going to tell you about their care tips. These guys are like most other houseplants. They have basically the same kind of care, so light, bright, indirect light, not directly on a windowsill. For humidity, they don't need super high humidity. I would say in general they're pretty low maintenance in terms of all of that. So it doesn't need any special type of humidity. The humidity in your home should be fine. In terms of watering, they like well-draining soil and watered when it starts to get dry. So the bottom part of the soil can still be moist. When the top part is dry, you should be watering. And they do well with fertilizing. So fertilizing when you fertilize your other plants. So every month to 2 weeks, depending.
Hi guys, in another installment of plants that are easy to grow, we have the watermelon peperonia. I got these 3 6-inch pots from the nursery for free because they didn't feel that they were quite up to their quality standards to sell. I didn't use any special soil mixes, just regular old Miracle-Gro. As they've grown, I put them in different pots and even broke pieces off for friends. From my experience, these plants absolutely love neglect. I let the soil go bone dry for like a week before I water it. They also seem to like being root bound, so I pack them really tightly and they're still always giving out extra leaves. They even seem okay and unfavorable living conditions. This is my experimental combo planter that has plants with different watering needs. The Peperonia in this planter get more water than I'd like, and they're further away from the sun, but they still grow, not nearly as fast as a mono planter though. And the best part about this plant, in my opinion, is I've never had to propagate them. They grow so fast, I literally break them up due to vision and put them in another planter. The remaining plants take up the empty space really quickly. I really love to hear your thoughts though on the watermelon Peperonia, because some people don't think that they're the easiest to grow, but I just haven't had that experience.
I've gotten some questions about this, and I figured I'll just address it in a video just in case it might be helpful for other people. I always say that watering varies depending on what type of pot you put it in and what size it's in. For instance, this is in a ceramic pot, and because of that, it doesn't absorb water, meaning that I wait about maybe a month till I check on it and see if it needs any water, but it's been over a month right now, and the soil is relatively still like wet, so I'm not gonna water it for a bit. But for this one that's in something that's like terracotta that absorbs more water, I check on it pretty much like every 2 weeks, but sometimes it needs water before then too. And then this one right here, it's in this plastic growing pot, so I actually don't know because I just transferred over, but I'm assuming I would water this maybe every 2 or 3 weeks. Rule of thumb is if the plant itself looks like this and limpy, that means it probably needs watering.
Did you know that some plants signal when they need to be watered? They get floppy, and when you squeeze their leaves, they're not as firm. It is especially true for Hoyas, succulents, and in this case, Peperomias. Make sure to observe your plants and attend to their needs.
Peperomia looks droopy like this, and the soil feels dry like this. It is time to water your Peperomia. So fill up a bowl with water and submerge your pot all the way down. Leave it there for 15 minutes and take out so the water can drain down. And that's how you water your Peperomia.
Hey plant people, I've decided I'm going to do a repotting series, and I'm going to start with my Peperomias. My Peperonia Napoleon Nights, Peperonia Ginny, Guinea, and my watermelon Peperomia. First, take them out of their decorative pots. Disinfect your scissors, of course. Chop off those rough looking leaves or the leaves you want to propagate.
Propagation.
Remove the plant from the pot. Massage the dirt away to reveal the roots. Find something you don't want to find and want to cry.
Wash. Wash. Wash.
Decided to split some plants up. Add dirt. Final product. Hey guys, this is part 2 of me repotting my Peperomias. I did split my watermelon and my Ginny up. And this guy, he's in a little pot because of this jerk. So stupid. I hope he'll make it. Water and fertilizer, and this is what I use.
Water. 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 Water.
Time for neem oil.
Spray. 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 Shiny.
It's time to put them in their pot and put them in their spot. So it's time for propagations. Water, soil.
Chop. Chop.
Dip in cinnamon to avoid root rot.
Spray.